we will study again code of ethics. Previously, we have studied code of ethics which were given by National Society of Professional Engineers, NSPE. But this was an American society. Okay. So in similar manner, here we are studying the code of ethics which are given by Engineering Council of India, that is ECI. Okay. NSP was a regulatory body which regulates the conduct of professional engineers in USA. So in a similar manner there is ECI. But understand that ECI is not an authoritative body. It is a non-profit organization which serves the purpose of as a engineering body, as an association of engineers. Okay. So there's a difference. NSP is recognized as a self-regulatory body, but ECI is not exactly recognized as a regulatory body. So understand that in India there is no equivalent overarching body as in case of America, that is NSP. Okay. So we can say somewhat ECI is similar to NSP, but it is not equivalent to NSP in case of India. Okay. Now similarly, the code of ethics that we will study here, they are more or less same as the code of ethics given by NSP. But since it is an Indian code of ethics, we must study it in more detail. Okay. So as in case of previous code of conduct, here again there is preamble. And what preamble says? Preamble says engineering is a profession that puts scientific knowledge to practical use. Okay, very simple. Professional engineers and consulting engineering organizations. So here observe that they are demarcating two different things. One is the individuals, professional engineers, and the second one is the organizations involved in this profession. So professional engineers and consulting engineering organizations in the pursuit of their profession affect the quality of life of all people in the society and the quality of all sectors of the economy. So again it is the same thing, quality of life of all people and quality of sectors of the economy. We affect the life of people, we affect the economy. Okay. Therefore ethics are fundamental to the values of the profession. Therefore ethics becomes very important. Accordingly, the services provided by professional engineers and consulting engineering organizations from now on simply referred as engineers should adhere to the following code of ethics while dealing with the public, clients, employers, employees and the associates. Okay. So again it is prescribing that engineers must adhere to the code of ethics. Okay. So what are these code of ethics? We will study. So the article 1 relates to social responsibility to uphold ethical values of the society. Social responsibility to uphold ethical values of the society. Now note that in your examination when questions will come, similar type of words will be there. So you must read this code of ethics in very detail. Okay. So this phrase must be remembered to you. Social responsibility to uphold ethical values of the society. Okay. Now in this code of first set of code of ethics, there are 4 subclauses: public safety, compliance with social order, impartiality and fairness, environment protection and improvement. Okay. So the first one is public safety. Engineers shall ensure the safety, health and welfare of the public in the performance of their professional duty. Same words that were in the NSPE code of ethics: public health, public safety and public welfare. Okay. Safety of the people must always comes first. They should promptly disclose to all concerned the factors that might endanger the public safety or the environment. Okay. So engineer individual engineer and the organization must be very open when some issues arises. Okay, they must not withhold any discrepancy or any negative thing that can affect the health and safety of public. Okay, so many times what happens is that, let's take any example, let's say there is a building and there is some minute error which was which which could affect the safety of that building. Okay, but what has happened is that issue got clear only after the construction of building has happened. So there is a chance that the organization or the employees of organization could suggest that since the building has already been constructed, then why there is a need to disclose that negative thing. So they will withhold that information. But this crucial information could become the reason for the we should say falling of that building. Okay, so it could affect the health of or safety of the occupants of that building. So all the factors that might endanger, whether there is a minute factor or it is a very important factor, all those things must be properly disclosed to the public. Okay, so this is very important, that safety of people must always come first. Okay, the second one is compliance with social order. Engineers shall abide by the laws of the land in which the work is performed, respect the local customs, uphold the human rights, safeguard public property, abjure violence and acts of terrorism. Now observe here, there are various things included in this. Okay, what are those terms? That abide by the laws. Okay, the next one is respect the local customs, uphold the human rights, safeguard public property, abjure violence and acts of terrorism. Now what I want you to focus is that when, let's say, some question comes, okay, and there are several options in it, and one option is that engineer must abjure acts of terrorism. So you will think that how is engineering related to terrorism, and by that line of thought you will not select that option as a correct option. But it is clearly mentioned in the ethics code that as an engineer you should abjure acts of terrorism. So this will become part of the correct answer. Hence it is very important to properly read this code of ethics. Okay, now this was the compliance with social order. So what it is saying, that the action of engineer must be compliance towards social order. He or she must not infuse any behavior that might affect or disturb the social order. Okay, so what are the actions? Abide by the laws. Okay, let me first remove this and let me highlight this with yellow. Okay, so the first one is abide by the laws. Obviously you must abide by the rules and regulation. The next one is respect the local customs. Wherever you are functioning, you must respect the local customs. The next one is uphold the human rights. Okay, the next one is safeguard the public property, and the next one abjure violence and abjure acts of terrorism. So as an engineer we must follow all these things. The next third set of code of ethics is impartiality and fairness. Again, the foundational values of any profession, impartiality and fairness. So engineers shall treat fairly all persons regardless of such factors as race, caste, religion, state, gender, national origin, etc. etc. Very simple. Impartial and fair. The fourth one is environment protection and improvement. Engineers shall strive to protect and maintain clean, healthy and safe environment and comply with the statutory requirements. So this is again a very important code of ethics. Similar way, you could neglect this option if it comes in the question, but it is clearly mentioned that as an engineer we must protect environment and work for its improvement. Okay, so this was the first set relating to social responsibility. Now the article 2 is the second set of code of ethics, which relates to the responsibility to maintain high standards of professional quality. Okay, so you can say that or we can just remember this like that article will relates to external things, the effect of engineer towards the society, and the second one is related to the professional itself. Okay, so here the first one, the first set under this is development of technical and managerial skills. Okay, so what it says, engineers shall maintain state of the art professional skills, continue professional development, and provide opportunity for the professional development of those working under their command. Okay, so it is focusing on the profession itself, and that too in the skill sector. So any person, if I am joining any professional body or I am joining a profession, then I must develop that skill throughout my profession. Okay, but many times what happens is that stagnation occurs in the knowledge and skill of the person, but this should not happen. It is saying that person must maintain state of art skill and must focus on the development of that skill, continuous improvement of skill. This must be the a behavior of that individual, and the engineer must also help in development of skills of the juniors also. Okay, so continuous development of knowledge and skill, this is what the 2.1 article is saying. The 2.2 article is saying undertake assignment where professionally competent. Okay, this is again related to what NSP was saying. So what is this? Engineers shall perform services only in the area of their technical competence. In what field you are professionally competent, in that field only you should work. You should not work in the field in which you are not properly equipped with the technical and theoretical skills. Okay, the next one is performance responsibility. So what it implies, that engineers shall seek work through fair and proper method and shall take full responsibility for the task undertaken by them. Okay, so you must be responsible for your work allotted. So very simple, very obvious that engineers must work fairly. Okay, and they must take full responsibility for the task undertaken by them. Now you can say that this 2.3 and 2.4, this could be, we can relate to the deceptive act clause. Let me again go back to that code of ethics. Avoid deceptive acts. This was one code of ethics prescribed by NSP. So here it implies that there should not be any deceptive action. You must own what you have done. So you are responsible for the work you have done. Okay. Similarly, the next code, what is this next code? Proper verification of documents and production processes. That is, engineer shall approve only those designs which safely and economically meet the requirements of the client, and shall not approve any engineering document, design, material, stages of work which they consider to be unsound. Okay, but many a times this deceptive things happen. Engineers approve those drawings or gives advice which are not sound. Okay, which are not technically sound. So we should avoid those things. Okay, so two angles of this, one is positive and second is negative, that engineer should only approve those designs drawings which meet the requirement and should not approve which are unsound. Okay. So this was the second set of code of ethics which were related to, we can say, the internal profession itself, the professional quality. The third set of rules are obligation to maintain high standards of personal behavior in a responsible manner. So the third set of rules related to the individual itself, their own personal behavior. Okay. So this third relates to the personal behavior of the individual. Okay. So under this 3.1 article is honesty and integrity in professional dealing. So we have again understood that it is a part of foundational values, honesty and integrity. So engineers shall maintain high degree of honesty and personal integrity in all their professional dealings. They shall conduct themselves in a fair, honest and respectable manner. Okay, so this we have already understood. Now 3.2 is compensation for services rendered. Engineers shall not engage in unhealthy competition. So many times what happens is that people or engineers try to make more money for the lesser work. Okay, so such type of things should not occur. The next one is professional opinion. Engineers shall seek and offer honest criticism of technical work, acknowledge errors and give proper credit for the contribution of others. When necessary, engineers shall issue public statements in an objective and truthful manner. Okay, so this is very obvious that engineers shall seek and offer honest criticisms of engineering work. Okay, their opinion must be professional. They must be free from any biases. Okay, the next one is professional relationship with the employer. Engineers shall act faithfully as trustee of the employer client on professional matters. This was also included in NSP Code of Ethics. The engineer must act faithfully as trustee of the employer or client. The next one is information communication with employers. Engineers shall keep their employer and client fully informed on all matters relating to progress of the business, including financial aspects which may affect the assigned work. Okay, so the communication with the employer or the client must be very open. Okay, it should be free from any biases or self interest. Okay, the next one is mutual obligation and trust. Engineers shall not maliciously or falsely injure the professional reputation of another engineer or organization. Again, a general statement. Okay. Self promotion. Engineers shall build the reputation based on the merits of services to the customers and shall not falsify or misinterpret their contribution. Shall not falsify or misinterpret their contribution. Again, this is a common thing which happens in life. Many professionals, many engineers falsify or misinterpret their work. Okay, so they try to make their career more strong by having these type of false interpretation works. Okay, and next one is employers business secrets. Engineers shall not disclose by any means confidential information of the employer or client unless otherwise authorized. Okay, so engineers shall not disclose by any means confidential information of whether client or the employer. And the last one is personal conflict. Engineers shall disclose real or perceived conflicts of interest to the affected parties and avoid these where possible. So, shall disclose real or perceived conflict of interest. Now, this last one, the conflict of interest term, we have not studied till now. So, just for time being, we will just read this statement. Yes, there is a code of ethics related to conflict of interest. Now what is mean by conflict of interest, we will deal with this in later on. Okay, but we have to just remember that the engineer must disclose whether there are conflict of interest or not. Okay, so these were the code of ethics. Now when we have read this code of ethics, they were classified into three categories: article 1, article 2, article 3. And when we have studied this, we can now conclude that the article 1 relates to the external thing, that is the relation of individual or organization with society. So it relates to the societal risk factors, social responsibility factors. The next one, it relates to the professional quality itself, relates to profession, how to develop profession, how must be your conduct. Okay, and the third one relates to the personal behavior of the individual. This categorization must be very clear to us. And further we can say that the article 3 and article 2 comes in the domain of microethics. They come in the domain of microethics, while article 1 comes in the domain of macroethics, that we have already studied. Okay, so here we complete the code of ethics part. So what we have done is, we have first studied what is meant by ethics, all the ethical theories, then we studied values, then we talked about what is meant by profession, and then we came to engineering profession, and under that we studied code of ethics. Code of ethics given by NSP and code of ethics given by ECI, and we have studied that more or less they are same thing, but what all things are included in code of ethics, we must remember them. Okay, so this concludes the code of ethics part. Thank you.